Hey guys, welcome back to today's Wisdom Wednesday video. I am super excited. I'm going to be talking about my dad's situation from way back when, and I don't know the full story. I know some of the story, but let's talk about it. Okay, so way back when, talking about like 20 years ago, probably like 23 years ago, maybe, before I was born. I wish I could have my dad here to tell this story, but all I know is that my dad got in a car accident. He had got ran off the road, went over an embankment, and hit a van of 3 people. He went to court. He went to jail, he went to correctional center, and that's where my dad got saved. My dad is an amazing man. And I know that he's probably watching this. Hey, Dad. But this whole entire time that I was bullied when I was younger was because of my dad. And my dad knows the situation. We went to an event together, and my dad found out about some of my problems that I was having, and he cried, and he was worried, but I'm okay. When my dad ended up getting saved and was becoming a preacher, or a minister, should I say, which now he's a preacher. My dad didn't know that I was being bullied as much, and sometimes it was right in front of his eyes, but he probably never saw it. But it was to an extent to where it hurt my feelings, and I felt like I had to take my life. And one day, when I got older, in my teens, like 17 or 18, a girl had asked my dad to speak at her anti-bullying event because her dad had killed himself, and she was raising an anti-bullying. And here comes the train. But anyway, this is gonna be a really quick one. Hopefully I can get this done. But I found that my dad found out that I was trying to kill myself and being suicidal and things like that, and it kind of hurt his feelings. It tore him up inside, because the fact that I was simply trying to take my life. And I realized one day when God scooped me up and told me, stay out of the way, everything's gonna be okay. Here comes this train again. And it's like on that one, it's not on this one closer to my house, it's like far over, but it's a loud one. I'll wait. Okay, so now it's kind of like passed down a little bit, but my dad sat here and found out that I was trying to kill myself, trying to commit suicide, and there was another lady there, and she was standing in the gap for her son, who hung himself, but became unconscious, and he's still he's still living, but he's not really responsive. And I knew him, and I went to school with him, but my dad was so frightened. He never knew. He came up to me because she had asked him to speak, and he came up to me and he was like, I don't know what to talk about. And here comes the wind. But he came up to me and he's like, I don't know what to talk about. What should I talk about? And I was like, you have to connect with that person and their situation. And I guess that like triggered him, and God spoke to him like, talk to her a little bit more. And so he came back to me the next day and was like, have you been through a situation? I was like, yeah, Dad. I said, every time that ever since you become a pastor or a minister, and got saved in Jesus Christ, I've been bullied. People call me, the goody two-shoe, or, the tattletale, or I have to do everything right, or either you don't belong on this planet, you don't belong here, you don't belong there, you don't blah 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 blah. Like, everyone just tearing me down, and it just hurt so bad, and I was blaming my dad for it, and it really like tore me up inside. I was like, what's the point of living? What is the point of living? So I was ready to just die. Until one day God spoke to me and he was like, stop. Just stop. You'll be able to tell your story one day. Just stop. And I am so grateful and so thankful that I did not. I tried 5 times and I just could not come to it. I could not come to the realization to do it. Like, I couldn't. It tore me up so bad that I couldn't do it. I was like, why am I doing this? You know, like, okay, I'm ready to die, but why am I doing it? So I didn't kill myself, of course, because I'm right here. And I told my dad, you know, about a situation. I was like, well, I'll write my speech and I'll write my story, and then, you know, you can hear it at the event. So I said my story. There was people crying. The lady was crying. I was crying. My dad was crying. It was such like an emotional roller coaster, but it was such a good feeling to see my dad have emotions for me. Because I'm not as close to my dad as I am my mom, but I'm close to my dad. You know, I work for my dad. I love my dad. He knows this and everything else. Sometimes I can be a daddy's girl, but my older sister is more of a daddy's girl than I am. I'm a mama's girl. But I love my dad to death, and to this day, he is my hero. He is, you know, taught me everything that I know now. He is, you know, he's the one who told me to earn what I want. If I want something, I have to earn it. So I've worked since I was 9 years old with my dad and things like that. But I love my dad, and I'm so grateful that he was allowed to see, you know, God sent him to me to talk to me a little bit more about the situation. And, you know, it was like, it was an eye-opener for my dad. And so that was one thing that was just, it was touching, and it was a moment that I would never forget with my dad. My dad has not cried on very many occasions with me, and that was one of them. My graduation was another, and something else. But, oh, and when I got married. So those 3 important things with my dad is super duper important with me. You know, one may be bad because I was trying to kill myself, but I am so glad that I am able to tell my story, and I'm so grateful for my father, and I give it all to my dad. You know, I give it all to my mom too, because that's my mama. Don't mess with my mama. But I'm so grateful to just know that I'm glad that I did not kill myself. I'm glad that I didn't attempt anymore. You know, and if I get in depression, you know, that's one thing that scares my parents or scares my spouse, that I'm going to think about that, you know, because I'm always like, well, I don't need to be here on earth then. What's the point? Everything would be better off if I was not here. But that's not the case. God wants you here for a reason, to spread his word, to be kind to others, even if they're not kind to you, to be patient, to live out your dream, to do everything that you possibly can while you're here on earth, because it's just, it's amazing to be on earth, and it's amazing to live. And, you know, if I was to kill myself, I wouldn't have my son. I wouldn't have my husband. And, you know, I'm so, so grateful to just be alive and to be here. I'm just so, so grateful. Well, guys, even though I don't know, like, the full story, if I ever was able to talk with my dad and see if he would come onto my channel and talk about his story, then that would be great. But right now, that's all I can really give you guys. So I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. It's just, like, right there. And I'll see you guys in next Wednesday's video. And that video will probably be about patience. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Bye, guys.